Security challenges threaten Nigeria's strides in different sectors of our economy. President Buhari engages Speaker of House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila on lasting solutions to the albatross of security. Experts give opinions on security measures to battle outlaws bent on carnage, while Southeast governors talk tough after orgy of violence in different parts of the region. Also on Political Update today, presenting a common front against crime and criminality, an urgent step by political parties in delivering a nation on the right path to peace and progress. I am Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed the confidence of the House in the genuine commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari to put an end to the challenges of insecurity bedeviling the country. He made his comments after a strategic engagement with the President on the state of the nation. The leader of the House of Representatives, Alassane Ado Doguwa, accompanied the Speaker to the crucial talks that covered areas such as security, social, and economic issues across the country.
He has a listening ear, and we profile ideas. He tells us his own views, and we come to some consensus one way or the other. You cannot be privy to them for now. We're still working on a way out. All I will always say, and I say it all the time, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. The president is dealing with a very, very difficult situation, and he's as passionate as anybody else to bring it to closure. And we are here to help him bring it to closure. You are aware that the House of Representatives some time ago passed a resolution. We set up an ad hoc committee, a special ad hoc committee, which is headed by, which involves all principal officers and 30 other members of the House. And we're going to start that process into looking at different solutions, and we'll be bringing the report to Mr. President. He's fully aware of it, and he's open to anything and everything, and that will help us in coming to a resolution in this matter.
Following the attacks on Okigwe South Area Command headquarters and the Douglas area of Owerri, the state capital is witnessing difficulties in vehicular movement occasioned by increased security measures. Let's see a situation report now.
Attack on Okigwe South Area Command headquarters by unidentified gunmen is one out of the several attacks on security outfits in Imo State. The incident left 5 officers dead, while the whereabouts of one is yet to be ascertained. Just as the people were yet to come to terms with that incident, the Douglas area in Owerri was hit by attackers, which created fear among residents of the densely populated area. A visit to the area at about 8 o'clock this morning, however, shows that normalcy has returned as business activities have picked up. The impact of the security situation in Imo State is taking its toll on the state capital, as major roads are now witnessing gridlock, arising mostly from some of the security measures put in place.
Trekking from down there to here to make it, you can't even move with cars again. If you check the time you will spend on hold up and other things, you prefer parking the car, take a shuttle. Maybe when you stop, you can trek and make up your time.
This is going to cripple everything that has to do with the economy of this state. Yesterday, I had to drop my car. That was why I'm not driving this.
It's very bad. It's very fearful. The people of Owerri don't know what to do now.
The people are eagerly hoping that the situation will be brought under control so that normalcy can be restored. In Owerri, Marian Vincent Oko, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Southeast Governors Forum met in Enugu and presented the outcomes of the resolutions. The forum also condemned the attack on the country home of Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodimma.
These governors and leaders reinstated the adoption of a common joint security outfit called Abuja. We mandated our Honorable Attorney Generals and Commissioner for Justice of the Southeast States to work with the Joint Security Committee to come up with the amendment of the existing state laws to reflect the new Abuja.
Now, according to some experts, development and security are intrinsically woven to ensure progress of society. They posit that insecurity or conflict negatively affects the economy, growth, exports, consumption per capita, and government revenue as a share of the gross domestic product, GDP. Expenditure to policing and military rises and social expenditure falls. Nigeria is facing a growing trend of insecurity, which many say requires all hands on deck to win this particular confrontation. Brigadier General Sani Usman Kukasheka, retired former Army Director, Public Relations, joins us today on Political Update. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on your program.
It seems as if it's an issue of 1 week, one trouble these days. If to quote that, storybook of we used to read when we were younger. But it seems as if it's an hydra-headed problem at the moment, talking about the security challenges and what should we be doing at the moment in terms of strategy and deployment.
I think every right-thinking Nigerian has to be concerned given the wave of insecurity almost in every geopolitical zone of the country. So much as it is, but I don't think the problem defied any solution. We need to really put our acts together in the terms of identifying some of these things. Take, for instance, the issues that we are having in Niger State, for instance. Way back 2012, I knew that Boko Haram made concerted effort, to gain foothold in that part of the country. Now, I think the best thing to do is to decisively deal with it. And then again, we have to look at security for what it is, a collective responsibility. It is not just for the government or for the security agencies, but we tend to politicize issues. You have so many disjointed, solutions. We need to harmonize it so that we have a common front that we could deal with these problems. Take, for instance, what are those issues that brought about the, banditry? People are divergent in terms of people were saying that even the people performing the act of banditry and kidnapping, they are also victims. There are others that are of different opinion. We need to harmonize all this, agree, then we know how best to confront the issue. Then the issue of Boko Haram, take for instance, also is something that has been with us over time, and we have been looking at the wrong directions most of the times. Now we look at it collectively. It is not just enough you keep on blaming, the security agencies and, the military. We have to look at the other components that make up, the key actors in the theater. To what extent is everybody playing the role he or she is playing? And to what extent the government is leading to ensure that these problems are nipped in the bud? I think all we have to do is to be more serious about these issues. And when they come up, we make sure that they are decisively dealt with instantly. And I think we'll have less problem, because the issue is people tend to take criminality simply because they assume they can always get away with it. But anytime anybody commits any act of infraction, we have excellent laws that will deal with that person. We should follow it through the criminal justice system to ensure that they are made to pay for it, or at least they should be responsible and decisively dealt with, so we can have minimal security challenges. But again, we have not been talking to ourselves, really. And that is the problem. If only we have been talking to ourselves, some of these problems could have been mitigated. But every day you hear inflammatory statements here and there, and people are not given sense of belonging. And we need to talk to ourselves. We have to understand the fact that something is happening in Abakaliki or where it has corresponding effect on the person in Zamfara or even in Damaturu.
All right, you just mentioned, what happened in Niger, and we're hoping that in the course of the program, we would get through to His Excellency Abubakar Sani Bello, the Executive Governor of Niger State, to give us an update. We're already in contact with them. We'll hopefully maybe if we can get a few minutes of his time as well to get on the program and tell us exactly what is happening in that state. But moving on, the headlines are filled with a lot of, stories of insecurity. You talk of, the kidnap issues, attack on, military facility. You have issues of bandits attacking that village, Kaore village in Shiroro, local government area. About 35 persons are alleged to have been abducted at that point. And of course, this one we just watched, the Okigwe South area command of the police headquarters, which has, of course, this has been a recurring issue now, where police facilities being attacked. And then we have, operatives of military joint forces in the, what we call them, checkpoints between Port Harcourt and Owerri, also suffering, casualties as a result of gunmen. Are we winning this fight?
Well, it depends on which fight you are talking about, really.
And, we have so many in terms of, we have the issues of bandits, we have some are called just gunmen. We have issues of, insurgents as well. It seems as if, there's incentive for violence on the state and even, the citizenry. It seems as if they're not going away. The moment you crush some another one, rears its head somewhere else.
I think that is the popular misconception about fight and all the rest. I think we should look at security challenges for what they are. It is not issue of contention, between two opposing sides. The whole idea is to ensure safety and security in the Nigerian society. So to what extent are we moving that? So sometimes being aggressive does not necessarily, win the situation. We have to identify, there are, do I say flags or warning signs that we tend to, bury our heads on the ground till when they escalate to this extent, then we think of, using the coercive means of dealing with it. So the starting point actually is to ensure that we are talking to ourselves. We can be able to identify, crisis situation before they escalate and nip them in the bud. But when there is the kind of situation, extent which we are experiencing, take for instance, I think the only geopolitical zone that has not experienced one kind of serious security problem or challenge is, I think, is the southwest. If you look at the northeast, look at what happened in Gaidam, Minok, and other Goza and other places. When you look at the northwest, look at what happened in Zamfara. Almost 45 people were killed also. And look at the north central, Benue State abduction and all the rest of the thing. The south and the southeast. Look at what happened in Rivers and what have you. But when some of these things are rearing their ugly heads, we tend to pretend. We'll assume that they will not, blow into. So we should have been, been more proactive in dealing with these people. And first and foremost, what makes the difference with all this gamut of security challenges is the issue of the proliferations of arms within the Nigerian society.
And we have huge, wide borders.
Well, millions of it is said. How did it get into this country? And what are we doing about it?
All right, we'll take a story now. We understand that the governor of Niger State is standing by. Very shortly, we will be joining him so that he can tell us a few things about what is happening there. Let's quickly take the next story, and of course, it's from Zamfara, just not too far from Niger. There, Governor Bello Mohammed of Zamfara says his administration has a new roadmap to tackling insecurity bedeviling his state. He said this when members of the Progressive Governors Forum paid him a sympathy visit.
Please accept our heartfelt sympathies and condolences, and we pray that all those who have lost their lives, Allah grant them
it's more support from Mr. President and the security agencies to support the government, and any way we found necessary that we will tackle the issue that we have at hand.
The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, says Nigerians must shun party differences and rise up to the task of solving the nation's security challenges collectively.
Every political leader should be held accountable for inactions or actions that is either directly perpetrated by him or his troop or his followers.
Ensure that everybody says that which is right and verifiable.
Everything must be done to de-emphasize violence. Again, this will not produce good leadership in the land.
Embrace the opportunities available in the political space of this country to be able to stand up and have a voice.
And what I can say to younger population, don't give up. You have to try in a more strident manner to keep trying.
It's for us to be encouraged to get involved so that not only in making good policies, but also to make sure that those policies are implemented.
All right, very shortly we'll be on to Mina, but before then, General, you've given us some possible solutions and all that, but how do we even in terms of, de-incentivizing this? There's, to get these bandits and these outlaws, increasing in number, there must be some way they recruit their, the young men. What should we be doing as a society, even, trying to dissuade, young men from becoming, outlaws?
Well, there are so many ways. First and foremost, we have to improve on the good governance because sadly, kidnapping is becoming a very lucrative business in the sense that the war economy is real. People are benefiting from it. Therefore, what do we do to discourage people, participating in these heinous crimes? First and foremost, I talked about mopping out, the small and medium and light arms within the society. Then, of course, we have to provide job opportunities. We have to ensure that the criminal justice system works. Then, most importantly, also, we have to improve on the capacity, training, and equipment of security forces, right from the police up to the other, security agencies as well as the military, because so that they can perform their job, optimally. Then, most importantly, again, we have to, make every Nigerian a stakeholder in this security problem in this country. What do I mean? Everybody has to understand that he or she has a role to play. Be it provision of information or sometimes be it in the way of advice or even inflammatory remarks and all the rest of the things, and encouraging these criminals. Because these criminals, they are not, committing this criminality in isolation. There are people, take for instance even the issue of kidnapping. Somebody must case, not just by case, I mean somebody has to scout, get information, and somebody has to do the kidnapping, somebody has to keep in custody, somebody has to do the negotiation, and somebody has to, collect the ransom, and somebody has to keep the money. Because I kept on saying, there is no way an average kidnapper will collect the ransom of 10 million, 5 million naira and moving about with that amount of money in the bush. Somebody has to keep it for him or invest it for him. Who are those people? To a large extent, some Nigerians know so much, but they are not talking. Why? Because the people that are supposed to be talking to them are not talking to them. That is why we should make sure that everybody is an equal stakeholder in the security architecture of this country, and you can see synergy of effort and the coordination of even the security agencies. And whenever there is information, there is need to be proactive about it, trace it, and make sure that whoever that is involved and people that are arrested, let people know what's fate has befallen them. Because if a kidnapper is arrested, within a few days, there are overwhelming evidences against the person. What stops you from arraigning the person, prosecuting him, and whatever sentence the person has been, sentenced to, people should know. So that Nigerians will understand that crime doesn't pay, so people will be deterred.
All right, General, let's just quickly go to Mina. Your Excellency, we're talking the Executive Governor of Niger State is with us. Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us, and our apologies for not getting you on time. But in a few short moments, can you just tell us what the situation is concerning the security issues in Shiroro local government, Kaore town to be precise, and what the status quo is at the moment?
Thank you very much. At the moment, we have 4 local governments that have been under threats by bandits and so-called Boko Haram elements, mostly in Rafi, Mariga, Shiroro, and Muya local governments. The operations or the activities around Mariga and Rafi is mostly of bandits, cattle rustlers, armed robbers, or whatever you want to call them, which is being looked into at the moment. But the most worrisome one is the one bordering Munya, Shiroro, and parts of Kaduna State, which is forests in between those locations that over time we have reasons to believe Boko Haram elements have dominated the entire forest and the entire communities around there. At the moment, all the village heads and district heads have moved out of their various locations. We have been engaging them. I met with them yesterday, and they have confirmed to me that their communities have been taken over by these suspected Boko Haram elements. The modus operandi of these people is completely different from those of bandits. With bandits, we know the objective is to steal. They are armed robbers. They're just criminals. They castle rustle, they steal ships, and what have you. In the case of the BH elements, the objective is different. They want to scare people away from their homelands. They want to take over the territory, which to some certain extent they have succeeded in doing. In Kaure, for example, and its environs, they have dominated the entire area. They have demolished the local church that is there, and they have installed their flag in Kaure. They have abducted the women, and they have given themselves they have allocated, let me put it that way, wives to their men on ground. The number of insurgents we're talking about here cannot be ascertained as this moment, but definitely their number overweighs or supersedes the ones of the military operatives we have around the area. Mind you, this area is in the forest region, even though not too far away, because they operate on motorcycles. They have taken over all the cattle routes and the tracks. So the situation is very, very worrisome, even though this matter has been on the front burner for a while. I'm sure you will recall the abduction of the Kagara students. You also recall the abduction of passengers in one of our state transport authority buses. We have been sending signals. We have been indicating this for quite some time now, over 2 years. Unfortunately, the response has not been commensurate to the threats. At this point, I think, yes.
Yes, Your Excellency, well, we have run out of time, but we will keep track of this issue with you, especially to give us an update, and of course, efforts being made to recover those places as well. For your final comments on the program before we go.
Yes, like I said, efforts are being made. We're reaching out to all agencies. Internally, we are doing what we can with the little resources we have. I think what is important now, as at yesterday, we had over 3,000 IDPs within Mina metropolis, but so far we have been able to send close to 1,500 back to their respective homes. The ones that remain cannot really go back home now because their communities have been taken over by bandits.
Many thanks, Your Excellency. I'm afraid we're out of time. We'll try and keep in touch with you as well. And also to General Kukasheka, Brigadier General Kukasheka, who has been with us for the past half an hour. That has been political update. We will continue with this situation, of course, on our next program, of course, on Friday. Keep on watching the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. My name is Fisai Ogunfi. Thanking you for being there. Bye-bye now.